You are listening to radio station KUCB again. In one of our broadcasts that we've been doing a series of broadcasts on black women missing and black girls missing. And so this is a continuation of the other videos that we have put up and continue to echo this concern, and because it's real serious, and what we are seeing is that there's an increase on black women that's missing. But before we get into that, into the discussion, I want to just give you a little background information about radio station KUCB. Radio station KUCB was founded in 1981, 82, somewhere around in that time. Here in Des Moines, Iowa, we had a low-powered 10-watt education community radio station for about 20 years. I was privileged to get the chance to host a talk show with Sister Hadashah Marion. We did a show called International Found Call Out, where we did some extensive interviews. Just a few of the interviews that we did, want to just kind of give you a rundown on that, if we can. We interviewed Senator John DeCamp out of Omaha, Nebraska. Senator John DeCamp broke the Franklin Union cover-up. He broke that whole story out about what was going on in Franklin Credit Union cover-up, and how at that time it ran all the way to the White House. This is the time when George Bush the father was president. We also got a chance to interview Ramona Africa, one of the survivors of the MOVE organization. As you know, the MOVE organization was kind of a back to nature group, and they had a C4 explosion, a C4 bomb dropped on them in a residential area in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is during the time when Wilson Goode was the mayor of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Frank Rizzo, who was the chief of police at that particular time in Philadelphia, if it serves me right. We interviewed Ramona Africa, one of the survivors of the MOVE organization, of the bombing that took place, I think that was like 76, in the MOVE organization in Philadelphia. 86 on that date. 1986 on that date, the MOVE organization was bombed. We also had a chance to interview the widow of Fred Hampton, Mark Clark. We interviewed him, two Black Panther members who were murdered by the Chicago Police Department in Chicago in the late 60s. Fred Hampton, Mark Clark was head of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party. They were murdered in a pre-dawn raid. We got a chance to interview Brother Fred Hampton's wife, and that was a real good interview. So just a few things that we had did on radio station KUCB. Some of the interviews, some of the people that we interviewed. As I said, we had the low-powered education radio station. 20 years here in Des Moines, Iowa. We had about 60, 65 volunteers. Had some wonderful people. Had an extensive training program for the youth and for the young people. After they got through training on that program, they got a chance to do their own radio show. We had them doing news, had them doing weather reports, had them doing public service announcements, and just a whole gamut of things. But they got a chance to mainly be exposed to community radio, and they got a chance to be trained. The founders of radio station KUCB, Miss Joanne Cheatham, Brother Charles Knox, may their souls rest in peace. I had the honor and the pleasure and privilege of working with Miss Cheatham and Brother Knox during that period. And so that's a little background about radio station KUCB. Let me get into our subject matter. If you got a chance to watch or catch some of the videos on YouTube, you have saw where we have did a series of broadcasts about the missing black women and black girls, and I'm talking about across the country. This is something that's been going on for quite some time. today's date is April the 21st. And as of this date, just want to give you a rundown on some of the black women who have been murdered as we talk about black women who are missing and black girls who are missing. We had Amber Evans, who was 28 years of age. She was missing for a length of time for Columbus, Ohio, around the Columbus, Ohio area. Her body was found in the Ohio River some time ago. She was murdered. Amber Evans, a community activist and a real good sister in the Columbus, Ohio area. We also had a doctor by the name of Dr. Sonia K. Forbes. She was 40 years of age. She was found stabbed to death in her home, and she was on the blink of a medical discovery that people was having trouble with their eyes and with their sight. She was on a major discovery about that. They found her murdered in her home, 40 years of age. Dr. Sonia K. Forbes, stabbed to death. We also had number 3, we had the death of the first female U.S. Muslim judge in New York City. This is being treated as suspicious. Her body was found in the Hudson River some time ago. I'll say that again. She was the first female U.S. Muslim judge in New York, and her body was found in the Hudson River. And last but not least, there was a young black girl. Her body was found in a duffel bag on a hiking trail. This was reported by the LA County Sheriff Department. And those 4 females that we know that was murdered, as it stands, they were murdered. We don't have anything else to substantiate anything else, the fact that they were murdered. Also, the second thing I want to mention to you too, and I just caught this on Facebook, just caught this today, in the Chicago area. Somebody put up a sign, and I'm going to, inshallah, try to read to you what I got from the sign that was posted. I mean, the big poster board sign that was put up on looked like a telephone pole. This said today from Chicago, in the Chicago area. It says, "Beware, someone is snatching black women. Watch for a big van and trucks." It says, "Run, get plates, call 911." Once again, I just saw this today. Somebody posted this up on a telephone pole in Chicago. It was a poster sign that someone had made up. It says, "Someone is snatching black women. Watch for a big vans and trucks." And it says, "Run, get plates, call 911." Now, let me just elaborate on that a little bit. Not too long ago, they confiscated a warehouse, I think it was, where a man and his son was selling body parts. And you know, on the black market, the body parts are of lowest loss of money. So we don't know what could be going on with what the connection could be with these black women missing, with this place that they just confiscated body parts of a father and a son right outside of Chicago, where they were selling body parts. And we don't know who could be behind the disappearance, or kidnapping, or murders of these black women. This is something that we really should take to heart, and something that we really should be concerned and be serious about. If we see anything, know anything, we ought to be calling 911, we ought to report it. The other thing is too, is that we ought to be talking to our young girls, to our young women, to women in general. I mean, it's no reason for no young women or young girl to be out at nighttime. If you're out and you in a place, in an area, clubbing, that's you really kind of setting yourself up. I mean, if a sister has to go to work, you ought to at least try to let someone know that you got to work okay, you were safe. Some of these women and girls who have been snatched up, they hadn't all been at nighttime. We don't know. Some of them have some girls have left going to school, catching the bus, walking, whatever, and then they don't never make it back. So those kind of situations is happening. Matter of fact, today I have this that in Northwest DC, young black girl, 16 years of age, is missing. She was last seen around K Street. Once again, a young African American black girl missing, 16 years of age, Northwest DC. She was last seen around K Street. I just got that today. Just got that today. And I just also saw some today still missing from for a long time. There's a young lady in the Chicago area who has been missing for some time, for a long time in the Chicago area. I think she was a male woman, postwoman. They found her car, they found her phone. They have not located or found her yet. And so I'm saying we ought to be alarmed about this. We ought to be concerned about it. And who's to say that we don't have some groups or some organized groups that are snatching up black women and black girls? Some of these sisters have been murdered. We have 4 of them that's been murdered, different locations. There's something about the Las Vegas area, because I just saw today where there was a young woman missing in the Las Vegas metropolitan area. There's something about Las Vegas where we've seen a number of cases where women have been missing in the Las Vegas area. And you heard me talk about that a poster board sign that I saw today had just been put up in Chicago, in the Chicago area. Don't know the location of where it was put up, but it was put up on a telephone pole. They had it in big, bold letters. It simply was saying, beware, someone is snatching black women. It said, watch for big vans and trucks. Run, get plates, call 911. I just got that today. The other thing is, too, you heard me mention on a number of occasions, this come from KTV St. Louis TV station in St. Louis, Missouri, KTV TV station. There is a town north of St. Louis, a county, I should say, north of St. Louis. Is called a small community, Berkeley, Missouri. They've had about 33 kids who have disappeared since 2000. And out of those 33, 12 of those 33 have been black girls, of what we know of at this point. As I said, once again, St. Louis, Missouri, north of St. Louis County, a small community it's called Berkeley, Missouri. Since 2000, they've had 33 kids who have disappeared. Out of that 33, 12 of them have been black girls. And so one of the things that they are saying is that in the abandoned houses, in abandoned buildings, even sometime in motels, these girls, it's possible, could be held for sex trafficking. Sex trafficking in the Midwest right now is real, real big. They said that the pipeline runs from New York to Atlanta, from Atlanta back to New York, right through the heart of the Midwest we sit. So they're saying sex trafficking is big, sex slavery is big. This is big. It's possible these black women, these black girls could be held for that. We never rule out that there could be a hate group that could be snatching black women and black girls up. We never rule that out. It's a possibility. See, so I'm just saying, anything that we see or know, we ought to be trying to report it. Anybody that we know that's missing whatever, we ought to be trying to report that. And once again, we say that oftentimes these abandoned houses, these abandoned buildings, is a place where they hold these girls. This is one thing that we read when we read the St. Louis story. One of the things they talk about on that incident in St. Louis is that St. Louis County, 12 girls, as I said, out of the 33, 12 girls or black girls have been missing. They are saying, and as I read the story and read the report, they were saying that abandoned buildings is a place that they hold these girls, these women, and also abandoned house, and also even sometime in the motels they hold girls and women for sex trafficking. This is something they do. The other thing that I want to bring to you too is that around the Philadelphia area, two places I pointed out to you that it seemed like this is happening frequency is the Las Vegas area and the Philadelphia area. Those two places, black girls have went missing in Philadelphia in the past months. It says 7 black girls have went missing in the Philadelphia area in the past month. This is the Philadelphia area. And I'll say it once again, to family members, to friends, to whatever. If you know that you have a young lady or a young woman that's out cruising or walking around or whatever, nighttime, places where you know that's not a good place to be, places that you know where you can set yourself up to be snatched up. If these people are sitting out in places with vans and trucks and they snatching black women and black girls up, then nighttime, being out clubbing on the weekend, being out walking, places that you know you shouldn't be, not safe. These young girls, you don't need to be, you get mad at your parents, get mad at the rules, and you want to run away from home. Running away from home, you don't have a clue to what you'll be running to. You think that the situation at home may be a bad situation, but when you run out into the streets, that's a worse situation than what may be going on with you at home and what may be happening at home, or you don't want to go by the rules, or you want to just be grown and want to do what you want to do. All those things, you might do. But I will say it again, to family members, to friends, to relatives, try to talk to your girls, try to talk to the young women where they don't get the idea that it's better to run away and don't know what may happen or what may occur when you run away. You have no clue, no idea. So I'm saying that's a serious piece. The other thing is too, as I said, and I want to strongly emphasize this, in the Midwest, sex trafficking is going on. Yes, it is. They say that the pipeline, I'll say this again, the pipeline for sex trafficking runs from New York to Atlanta, from Atlanta back to New York City. We sit in the heart of the Midwest. And I was saying earlier that these women could be be held up in an abandoned housing, in an abandoned building, sometime a motel. These people have a way that they snatch these women and these girls up. And I said to you that I just saw today where someone posted a bulletin board, more or less a poster board sign on a telephone pole in Chicago, and it was simply saying that it was simply just kind of warning people about this kind of stuff that was going on. It was saying beware of trucks and vans. Yes, this is a little post I got. This was in Chicago. Just saw this today. It said, beware, someone is snatching black women. Watch for a big vans and trucks. Run, get plates, call 911. That was something I just saw today that had just been put up in Chicago here. So it's clear to me that it's happening all over in Chicago, in Las Vegas, in Philly, in Ohio. This is going all over, and this is like a national emergency. It should be. I mean, you don't hear many people talk about it. All these people that got all these radio shows and talk shows on. You have to understand, these shows, these radio stations that are commercialized, there are certain things that they're not going to talk about. There are certain subjects they're not going to touch, because the advertisers, the sponsors, they would pull their ads and pull their money, and those talk show hosts would be off the air. So it's certain things they're not going to talk about. Let's be real clear about that. They're simply not going to talk about it, because it's like a taboo subject, and then they can't talk about it, because if they do, they'll get in trouble, probably get reprimanded, may even be taken off the air for talking about a kind of subject like that. Like I said, once again, this has been a series of broadcasts that we have been doing about black women and black girls that are still missing, and also giving you some definite information on. We have a count of 4 black women who have been murdered. We know this for a fact. They've been murdered across the country. They've been murdered. So once again, radio station KUCB, we'll continue to bring you these broadcasts. We'll continue to bring you update and bring you more information. And we ask you just to continue to check us out as we put this out here and let you know about what's going on.